Hello there guys, welcome to another my live video. So just going to give you my post-match analysis for the Norwich Manchester United game that ended Norwich City 1, Manchester United 3 yesterday. So now that's our third win in the Premier League season, our first away win on the road this season in the Premier League, and our second away win in space of a week. And it actually was a very good performance by Manchester United. Analysing it, I think that's probably our best performance of the season so far. It was totally comparison to the Liverpool and Partizan Belgrade game. Even though there were two good results, we'll take that into account. The performances still weren't that good. But in this game, Solskjaer didn't actually go with three at the back. He actually reverted back to the 4-2-3-1 formation, surprisingly, because there was reports before the game saying that Solskjaer could have stuck with a 3-5-2. But yeah, very good result. So now we are sitting 7th in the league with that win. We are now on 13 points. We've registered 13 from possible 30, and we are sitting 7 points behind top 4. So I think now our season can turn around. But like I said, there is still plenty of time for us to turn things around. The goals were from McTominay. He scored the first goal for Man United. I thought McTominay again, had a really good game. And like I did mention, he deserved to keep his place in the team this season, reflecting on his impressive performances. But he did take his goal really well, did McTominay. The second goal was from Marcus Rashford. That's Rashford's 50th goal for the football club. I think his third goal this season. It was lovely. Assist, from Daniel James. It was a lovely through ball from him. Rashford took it down. It was a lovely finest place finish, and that was 2-0. I thought again, Rashford had a really good game, and I did say for the majority of this season, Rashford has been mainly inconsistent in comparison to his time when he first broke into the Man United senior squad. But I think in the last couple of games he's really stepped up to the plate as Marcus Rashford. So I have been very impressed with him. So it was a 2-0 at half time, but actually Manchester United did miss two penalties in the game. By the way, Rashford missed a penalty, and Anthony Martial had missed a penalty. Obviously, which was a shame. So we could have actually won the game by 5 goals to 1. But yeah, I think Tim Krul had saved both the penalties, by the way. But it didn't matter anyway, we did win the game. And, Martial's third goal was very good. Rashford, of course, got an assist as well as a goal. Martial's goal was absolutely brilliant. He did chip the goalkeeper. And Norwich did score late on through Ornell Henderson. So it was just a shame, that we really, didn't keep that clean sheet. We had a total of 21 shots in the game, and surprisingly we registered 11 shots on target, because we do know for the majority of this season that we have been struggling to create chances. Obviously we've been struggling to create goals. It was also good to see us score more than one goal. But yeah, again, I do credit Mulligan and Solskjaer. I thought credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer again. I thought the formation was right. The personnel was there, just like it has been, quite recently in that. But I think now things are going to turn them around with Manchester United, which is very good. But it's definitely, the best performance this season. But I think, since the Liverpool game, the momentum's got back into the team. The confidence is now in the players. But I thought the players that played well against Norwich, I thought Martial was very good. He looks very effective in that central position. Rashford had a good game. Thought McTominay played well. Daniel James, again, enjoyed a really good game. And I said, he's had a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. But yeah, so I think now we should go on a winning run. We know that games are coming thick and fast. Obviously, we've got Chelsea coming up in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. Then we go away to Bournemouth in the league, and then I think after that, if I'm right, I'm not too sure what it is after that. I think we've got Brighton also coming up. So games are coming up thick and fast. Solskjaer's actually come out and admitted, that he's hurt by the results this season. He's really, really hurt because obviously we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 3 decades. But I think now things are going to turn around at Manchester United. So I think the club are willing to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer more time anywhere. And it's also, we have still got injuries, He did say, we were set to miss 6 players, for the game against Norwich. Obviously, we're doing all that. Luke Shaw, he's still out with injury. But a lot of people now are saying, that we should. A lot of people now are saying that, Brandon Williams is a better solution than, Luke Shaw. Like I mentioned, Brandon Williams enjoyed a fantastic game against Partizan Belgrade midweek, and he actually, was the man of the match. Was Brandon Williams. It was good that I recently, signed a new contract. But I think the likes of Brandon Williams and James Garner and that, can earn more first team promotions at Manchester United. James Garner obviously, made his second appearance for the club midweek against Partizan Belgrade, and he also enjoyed a fantastic game. So that was, a good thing that Solskjaer did, and it was a surprise. It was a surprise solution that he did. Playing two teenagers in that game. But like I mentioned, anyway, we've got a lot of young players in the squad. That are developing and trying to improve at Manchester United. And I have got some element of concerns about certain young upcoming players. About certain young upcoming players. I don't think all of them, will become a success. So I think maybe we do need to consider loaning some young upcoming players out in January. Like I mentioned, I've got element of concerns about Chong. Chong's only played a couple of times this season. But I definitely, I can definitely assure that the likes of Greenwood, he also came on yesterday again. That's his 7th substitute appearance he's made in the league this season. I can assure that Tuan Zebe, they'll, become successes at the club. And I think also Brandon Williams can become a success at the football club. But yes, and I credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the aspect as well because, he has got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players. But yes, we have still got injuries. Like I mentioned, Shaw's out with a hamstring injury. He hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. Obviously Diego Dalot's still out with injury. I think it's unknown when Dalot will be back. Because Dalot's, had quite a few injuries this season. Obviously, Alex Tuanzebe is out with a hip injury. I think it's also unknown, when he will be back. Don't forget Tuanzebe has played quite a few times this season. He was named in the starting 11 against Liverpool, but obviously during warm-up he sustained the injury, so you'd actually know Marcus Rojo had taken his place in the team. Obviously Matic is still out with a minor problem. He's still out with a minor problem. Obviously Eric Bailly's still out with injury. Fossil Mensah is still out with injury. Jesse Lingard's just recently, recovered from a hamstring injury. And I did say Jesse Lingard's another one of the players that does need to step up to the plate. Because I said, reflecting on his status at the football club, he should be putting much more better performances out. But, reflect on the amount of injuries we've had anywhere. Solskjaer has had to make alterations in the squad. But I think now anywhere he'll go more with the three at the back, even though he didn't yesterday. But for the majority of this season anywhere, Solskjaer's been going with a 4-2-3-1 formation. On a couple of occasions he has gone with a 4-3-3. But we know that the 4-2-3-1 formation has been mainly working this season. But he may go with 3 at the back in the Carabao Cup. He'll make a lot of alterations in the squad, by the way, for the game against Chelsea. I think he'll play quite a lot of the young ones, even though it is a big game. But yeah, so I won't fully now disregard the top 4. I still think it's going to be hard, for Man United to get that top 4 because we are still 7 points behind. I said, like I said before the game, prior to the Norwich game, if we had lost the game against Norwich, then I think I would have definitely assured then that top 4 would have been over. But definitely I can assure that Solskjaer's job is safe at Manchester Manchester United. Obviously, there was a lot of reports before the Liverpool game saying, if we was to suffer a heavy defeat to Liverpool, that would be enough, well, it could actually, end Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure at Man United or put his job in serious jeopardy. And then there was reports saying if we were to lose to Norwich and fail to beat them, it would assure that Solskjaer, would have been sacked at the football club. But, things have been turned around in the last 3 games, which is very, very good to see. But Solskjaer, is aware of the expectations he has to exceed at Manchester United. And, obviously I said, our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4 and perhaps maybe win some silverware. And, obviously want to get back into that top 4. So in that aspect, we can get back into the Champions League. Because I think that's one of the main factor reasons that went against us, during the summer. Because when you're not in Champions League football, it's obviously, going to be harder to attract players to the elite level. But yeah, so we need to get top 4 this season. But, I did note at the start of this season, despite the 3 signings that we recommended into the football club, and that's something else I credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for, because he did recommend 3 good players into the squad. We spent nearly £150 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and on Harry Maguire, and they've all enjoyed a fantastic start to their Man United careers. Despite us winning them, I still knew this season that we wouldn't mount any kind of title challenge up. I knew, wouldn't win the league, because analysing our squad at the moment, it isn't good enough to win the league. But I think it's definitely good enough for a top 4 finish. So I do believe our aspirations will be at that top 4 in the next couple of seasons. But yeah, so he's aware of the expectations. Like I said, he has to meet at Manchester United. He's aware of that. But Solskjaer has obviously come out and admitted that the club's transition has obviously been very, very difficult. Because we are in transition. But if we are to be back, to being a competitive elite level football club, I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings next year. I think we're orchestrating on getting at least 4 new players to the squad next year, because these still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. We definitely need a midfielder, because we are missing a creative impetus in that midfield. We definitely need a striker. Maybe even need a couple of forwards. Someone that can come in, that can assure us goals, and someone who can be more effective in the box. And we do need to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. We also need to recruit a replacement for Amanda Herrera. But yeah, there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. And, we didn't address all the problematic areas during the summer. We addressed some of the problematic areas, which was very, very good. We got that experienced centre-half in. We also got that right-back in. But we didn't address all the problematic areas. But, yeah, so maybe we should, give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, at least a couple more windows to see who else he can recommend in. A massive rebuild is needed at the football club. But, you can still quite frankly say Solskjaer is in the process rebuilding this Manchester United squad, because analysing the majority of this Manchester United team, it isn't Jose Mourinho's, it isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, sorry. The majority of this team is Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into the football club, and now taking into account Solskjaer is inheriting the vast majority of them. Solskjaer's been assured he will be given money to spend in January. I do believe we'll look to probably sign 1 or 2 players in January, but I think, like I mentioned, we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. But I did say in the next 3 to 4 windows, that our recruitment has got to definitely improve, because our recruitment has been very poor for several years, and obviously in that aspect that blame stems from the board, because like I mentioned anyway, the board have been a liability for several years. You have got some Manchester United fans now demanding the board out. and they're just saying, we should get rid of our current board and recommend a new board. And I do believe the board do need to assure structural changes at the football club, and whether they can assure these structural changes or not, I do not know. But yeah, and I think the depth in our squad, of course, isn't good enough. But with our inconsistency for large periods this season, I think everyone needs to take the blame. Obviously, for the majority of this season, a lot of Man United fans, including me, obviously have been criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics, because for the majority of this season, we have been tactically inept. But I'll credit Solskjaer, he's done well in the last 3 games. I think a lot of the blame has stemmed from a lot of the players, because a lot of the players, haven't, played that well this season, but quite a few of them now have stepped up to the plate in the last 3 games. And I think also some of the blame does stem from Ed Woodward, and obviously you've got certain Manchester United fans demanding Ed Woodward out in the football club. My perception now on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is that, my perception hasn't really changed. Maybe I still believe we'll give him time. I still don't know if he's Solskjaer. I don't know if he's, the long-term future for Manchester United, because now, reflecting on the last 3 results, certain Man United fans' perceptions, may have changed, because obviously you saw after the West Ham game, a lot of Man United fans demanding Solskjaer out. Obviously after 1-0 defeat to Newcastle before the international break, you saw a lot of Man United fans, demanding him out the football club. And I still believe certain Man United fans, will want him out, but maybe some Man United fans now have changed their perception on it. But I said, my element of concern I've got about Solskjaer is that he hasn't really, in my opinion, got any intuition on how to manage a big football club like Manchester United. He hasn't really got that managerial experience to the highest level. Obviously, before I was at Man United, he won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. Obviously before I was at Mould, he had a really short tenure with Cardiff. I think he only managed around 29 or 30 games for Cardiff, and then actually, ended up, getting Cardiff relegated. So his pedigree, isn't really that good. So we also, will take that into account. But obviously, Solskjaer knows the traditions of Manchester United. He was a great player for the football club for 11 years, and he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance. And during his time as a player, he won 6 Premier League titles. He won around 2 Champions Leagues. He won 1 Champions League with the football club. I think he won about 6 FA Cups, was it, or something like that. But he was a great player, and he has, got that proven pedigree as a player. He just hasn't, really got it as a manager. But I think now things are going to turn around at Manchester United. But Solskjaer, hasn't been here that long. He's only been here now overall for around 10 months. He's been at the football club just under a year. As Solskjaer, he's obviously, been permanent manager, for around nearly 8 months now. We do know since he got the job permanently, it has seemed to have all gone wrong. So you can say Solskjaer's endured a difficult 7.5 month tenure at Manchester United. So you can say that. But, when he was the interim manager, he did really, really well. And he was interim manager for 3 months. But in that 3-month period, the results were good. The performances were good. He got the best out of these group of players, and he exceeded expectations. And even won his first 8 games, won 14 out of 19 in total when he was the interim manager. But we do know it's actually, for the majority of the 7.5 month period, it's actually, being totally comparison, to them what we saw, in that 3-month period and that. But I think now, things are starting to improve. With the result, regarding Norwich result, I'm not going to, get carried away. It's only 1 game. Norwich have been struggling anywhere, where they are in the relegation zone. Take that also, into account. Take that into account. I also want to give you some news regarding Paul Pogba as well. This isn't really, really good news. I think Solskjaer has confirmed the extent of Paul Pogba's injury, and I think Paul Pogba is out until December with injury, as it has currently confirmed. Don't forget, Paul Pogba has been out with an ongoing ankle injury or foot injury. for a number of weeks now, and he's missed I think 8 of our last 10 games with his injury. And we do know that Paul Pogba has been a big miss in that midfield. We do know that Paul Pogba, has mainly enjoyed a difficult time at Manchester United, since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. I do probably believe that Paul Pogba is one of the players, that will leave Man United in January or next summer, because I still believe he wants out of the football club, and I still believe his preference is to make a move to Real Madrid. So he's been out of quite some time with injury. He did play in the Rochdale game and the Arsenal game, but obviously we know that he didn't look fully fit. And Solskjaer, I think, is aware of how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is. So yeah, it's confirmed he's out. He's out until December. So the injury must be severe, as more severe than we first feared. To be quite honest with you. So yeah, Solskjaer's confirmed. He's definitely out. But it's good that, Solskjaer, is making plans for the January transfer window. Also Ed Woodward is making plans for the January transfer window. We have got a lot of players on our agenda, who we, could go in for. I think Solskjaer, is keen on continuing the policy of recruiting young British players, like did do during the summer. But it actually is, looking very, very probable, that we are going to sign Mario Mandzukic in January. So that's one player Man United are going to get in January. So he's going to be the first player we're going to sign in January, which is it's looking very, very probable. And overall, he will be our fourth signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, because reports recently said the other week that that Mario Mandzukic has slashed his wage demands in half from 300 grand a week to 150 grand a week in order to make the move to Manchester United. And the reason that Mario Mandzukic is leaving in January probably is because he's lost his place in the team with Juventus, and he's saved his two requirements, because obviously Mario Mandzukic, since the recommendation of Maurizio Sarri, has not played a single minute under Maurizio Sarri's guidance. The only element of concern I've got about us, recommending, Mario Mandzukic, is that he's 33 years of age. So you can probably say he's got a year or two left in his career, in his footballing career. Don't get me wrong, I think he's had a really, really good career, and he's obviously, an experienced forward. And he can score goals and that, and he can create chances, because he's proven that in the years he's been with Juventus. He's scored 44 goals in 162 games for Juventus in all competitions. He's very, very effective in the box. He's actually still under contract with Juventus until 2021. But I think Man United are only paying around 9 or 10 million pounds for him. So that's actually he's a very, very cheaper solution. To be fair, I think Man United are set to hand him around an 18-month contract. But don't forget, we went in for Mario Mandzukic towards the back end of the summer transfer window. But yeah, it's looking very, very probable, that Man United are going to sign him, which is very, very good news. But there's also, a lot of other players on our agenda. Don't forget, there's been talks about Moussa Dembele. Solskjaer did confirm, he wants to bring 2 forwards in January. So he wants to, bring someone else in, after, the arrival of Mario Mandzukic. And don't forget, Moussa Dembele is on our agenda, and I think, he would be the right calibre player for Manchester United. He can score goals, he can be effective in the box, still very, very young, only 23 years of age. If we were to go in for him in January or next summer, Moussa Dembele, I do presume, would cost the club a substantial amount. We'll probably have to pay in the excess of around 60 or 70 million pounds for the player. But he is an out-and-out number 9, is Moussa Dembele, and I think he would be a good adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. He's in his second season with Lyon, is Moussa Dembele. Last season was his debut season. I think he did really, really well in his debut season. I think he's done well in France. I think he feels unsettled in France now, though, with Lyon. He's still under contract with Lyon until 2023. Leon obviously, paid around £20 million to him from Celtic last summer, because he did have a good couple of years with Celtic. And obviously before he was at Celtic, he was at Fulham, and he actually, began his senior career with Fulham. So it's also beneficial because he's had experience of playing in the Premier League. So he's another player on our agenda. As I did update you guys yesterday, this was obviously before the Norwich Man United game kicked off. I give you some more transfer news regarding Man United, and he reportedly said that we was orchestrating on spending up to around £125 million on Kai Havertz from Bayer Leverkusen and Thomas Muller from Bayern Munich. So it reportedly says now that two Bundesliga stars are currently on our agenda. Now, the news regarding Kai Havertz, now I've actually never really heard of this player. I was reading a lot of reports about him yesterday, and it reportedly says Bayer Leverkusen are demanding a substantial amount for him. Reportedly, they want around £85 million for him. He is actually predominantly a midfielder. He's actually a two-footed midfielder, so in that aspect he's good with either foot, so he doesn't have a preferred foot. There's Kai Havertz. He has actually spent the majority, I think, of his career with Leverkusen. He joined their youth academy in 2010. I think he was in their youth academy for a number of years, and I think he made his senior debut in 2016. Did Kai Havertz, and he actually became the youngest. He became the youngest player. To debut. He became the youngest ever. Debuting at the club in the Bundesliga. They did this player, but he's gone on to make, I think, 117 appearances in all competitions for Leverkusen. Since he broke into the senior squad, and he is only 20 years of age. So do you think he would be the right caliber player for Man United? I think he's still in the contract with Leverkusen until 2022. Thomas Muller, obviously, he would be a cheaper solution, obviously, regarding his age, because, Thomas Muller is now 30 years of age. And I think, Man United have been long admirers of Thomas Muller, because don't forget, back under the David Moyes era, we was in for Thomas Muller. And wanted to actually to make him our first signing back under the David Moyes era. Thomas Muller's obviously spent the entirety of his career so far with Bayern Munich. Obviously he's been at Bayern Munich now for nearly 2 decades overall, because he joined Bayern Munich's youth academy in 2000. Obviously spent around 8 years in their youth academy, then broke into the senior squad in 2008, and since he's broken into Bayern Munich senior squad, he's gone on to make 495 appearances in all competitions, scored 186 goals and registered 171 assists. So he has done really, really well. He is under contract with Bayern Munich until 2021. But do you think he would be the right caliber player for Manchester United? He's actually predominantly a forward, but he can play in various other positions, because his versatility is very, very good. He can play as an attacking mid, he can play as a forward, he can play as a centre forward. You can also put him on either wing. So I do probably believe he'd cost Man United in the excess of around 30 or 40 million pounds. But Thomas Muller anywhere has initially lost his place in the Bayern Munich team. So yeah, he could leave Bayern Munich. Don't forget, there's also been James Maddison on our agenda. A lot of reports were going on about James Maddison the other week. And this news regarding James Maddison, was actually stemming from David Ornstein, who's a very reliable journalist, and he said, Man United are expected to sign James Maddison within the next year. I think we was actually in for James Maddison during the summer. We was tentatively linked to him. So what I mean in that aspect is that he wasn't one of our main priority targets, but reportedly we've been interested in James Maddison since June. We are all aware that he will cost the club a substantial amount of money. We'd probably have to pay in the region of around 60 or 70 million pounds for his services, because Leicester don't really want to lose him. But, don't forget, we did business with Leicester during the summer because, we got the signing of Harry Maguire. We paid around £80 million for Harry Maguire. And Leicester, didn't really want to lose him. But, Leicester have lost quite a few of their imperative players in recent years. But they're still in a very, very strong position, Leicester. I think Leicester, are keen on actually, getting James Maddison a new deal, a new contract. He's still got 4 years left on his current contract term at the moment. But, I think Maddison, again, would be the right calibre player for Man United. He's predominantly an attacking midfielder. I think we're probably seeing him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But either way, even if Paul Pogba stays, we still need to address that midfield. But Brendan Rodgers has actually played, James Maddison on the left quite a few times. But he is only 22 years of age. He is now into his second season with Leicester. He was fantastic in his debut season last season. Last season he created more chances than any other player in the Premier League. I think he created around 100 chances last season. But Leicester, did get him for a reasonable figure. They only paid around £20 million for him from Norwich last summer. But yeah, very, very good players. So yeah, we have got a lot of players, like I mentioned, on our agenda. But Solskjaer recently came out anyway, and he insisted, he's the right man for Manchester United. He's never felt that the job is too big for him. And obviously, Ed Woodward has got the same perception as Solskjaer, because obviously Ed Woodward 100% insists that he's backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all that. And I think some people believe, or a lot of people believe, us getting rid of Solskjaer now or just before Christmas, anyway, wouldn't solve a lot of problems at Manchester United. And, like I mentioned, Solskjaer's our fourth permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. And, we've already... we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, even though we have sacked 3 managers, since the Alex Ferguson era. David Moyes obviously got sacked after he served only 10 months at Manchester United, so he only had a really short tenure with the football club. Obviously, Moyes came in at the time because Ferguson recommended him in. Obviously, then Van Gaal came in, he lasted a year and a half, I think it was. He got sacked, despite winning the FA Cup. And then after that, we recommended Jose Mourinho in. Jose Mourinho had a 2.5-year tenure at Man United. But obviously, he didn't last, despite the fact he won the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season with Manchester United. So yeah, we don't want to really, keep sacking managers. But I think, one mistake Man United did make, obviously, was giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job. We should have never given him the job, and I do feel sorry for him in a way, because I think the club have put him in a very, very difficult position. But yeah, I do want his tenure, to become successful at Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. But we should be much more of a commanding position, than we're in now anyway. Because I did say, a lot of money's being invested into the football club. Obviously, I think in all the managerial eras since the Alex Ferguson era, I think around £700-800 million has been spent on players. That's just under £1 billion. And we do know, we haven't only spent big on players. We've also got players on big contracts now. You've obviously got Rashford on around £300,000 a week. You've got Martial on 200 grand a week. You've got Lingard on just over 100 grand a week. You've got Pogba on 290 grand a week. You've got obviously Harry Maguire on 200 grand a week. David De Gea on 375 grand a week. He's actually the highest paid goalkeeper in the world. So we have, got players on big contracts. And I know over the years, we are obviously known for overpaying for our players, and we've overpaid for quite a few players. I will agree on the aspects that I think we definitely overpaid for Maguire. But, I think he's enjoyed a really good start to his Manchester United career. £80 million was too substantial. I think we're definitely overpaid for Fred. Obviously we paid just under £50 million for him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk. I would say give Fred a bit more time at the football club. Give him a bit more time to settle in. And I think he's had the odd good game here and there for Manchester United. Obviously, he's getting more chances now, which is very, very good to see. But yeah, I've got the same perception about Fred of what I've got of McTominay. I don't know if Fred, is the long-term solution for Manchester United, but I definitely would give him more time. You know, I probably agree that we overpaid for Paul Pogba. Obviously we paid £89 million for him. He's our most expensive signing. We even overpaid for Romelu Lukaku at the time we got him from Everton. We paid £75 million for him. So we are known basically for overpaying for players. I do also believe as well, despite the fact that a lot of players left the football club during the summer and that, and actually a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, I still believe these more problematic players at the football club that do need to be moved on in January and of course next summer. So yeah, these definitely more players that do need to leave. And yeah, so I think one of the mistakes also Man United made was getting rid of Ander Herrera. I was it infuriated me more that we let Ander Herrera's contract run down and that, the actual club let him go on a free transfer. Because you could arguably say, like I mentioned, that Ander Herrera, was one of our best players since the Ferguson era, for Ander Herrera, he served 5 years at Manchester United, and analysing it, you can say he had 2.5, 3 good years out of the 5 years, when he was at Manchester United. So it was a mistake, letting him in, of course, go. But like I mentioned, we have made mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. But now, obviously, like I said, I think the expectations are too high for Solskjaer at Man United, and that, I still believe, he's not the right man for Man United. Not in the long-term future, and that I'll put that into the equation. But maybe I may be proven wrong, and you know what? I hope I'm wrong. To be quite honest with you. I hope I'm wrong, to be quite honest with you, and that. But regardless of who our manager is, no one can invoke Ferguson's legacy at Manchester United, and definitely no Solskjaer can't invoke Ferguson's legacy, to save him at Manchester United. So we'll never replicate, what we did under Ferguson, especially in terms of what we achieved in that. And that's something, we've obviously, got to accept. But, Ferguson didn't settle in straight away, take into account, Ferguson, didn't win out in his first 4 years at the football club. So sometimes it does take managers, time. But yeah, so we'll see who we can get in January and that, and see of course who we can get in next summer. But I do believe Solskjaer will still beat Manchester United for at least for at least this season anyway, because I think the board themselves did assure at the start of this season that did assure that Solskjaer will be given more time regardless of what happens, because I think they believe that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough during the course in the summer. But yeah, very, very good result against Norwich, like I mentioned. Very, very happy with the performance. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.